remember who said it first, but it got a laugh.
Yeah.
And it was like, okay, this is a great name, because Noah, the story of Noah is well known by everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And he built an ark.
Yes.
And he took all these animals, which is a really stupid thing to do, Ben, because animals eat a lot of fucking food, they shit a lot, they cause a lot of trouble with each other, and there's too much problem with all these animals. Why do you take all the animals? What Growers Ark does, it takes all the seeds, and from the seeds the animals will come back. You know, the seeds are the first things. They are the fundamentals of human existence. Without the seed to make the cotton, to make the jeans, to make the... everything is seeds. If you look at the tree, except for the minerals that are under the ground, but you can't smelt the minerals without some fire, and you need a carbon to smelt, and you need hydrocarbons, which are, you know, like bacteria, which are, you know, everything is connected. It's a carbon-based universe. So the carbon cycle is a really important thing that's behind everything. You know?
That's true.
When our bodies return from dust to dust to ashes to everything is going into creation, back into the cycle of carbon again and coming back out again. Your bones are all silica, and if you burn your body, what you're left with is a small pile of carbon, which is the ashes.
So we are being recycled. There is such a thing as reincarnation.
No, you've got to be careful on this score. I don't want to go into theoretical stuff because I don't know about reincarnation. Loads of people believe in it. Loads of people have experienced it.
If you take the universe down to an atomic level, is that the life force that is running through my body right now, that is running through your body right now, has a relationship and a connection and an intimate connection with everything, because the same oxygen...
You love my teacher, man. You love my teacher. You love him, man. He is so cool. He talks like this all the time. This is who we really are.
Atomic level. We are atomic creatures.
Yeah. But the level of inner peace, inner sanctuary, where this vibration, what you talk about, this force,
energy
is coming in, which is the life force, which comes in, and you are living, and you when you come onto this earth, you take your first breath. That's inspiration.
It's love. That's
you take your first breath, and on your last breath.
You're breathing love.
And it's breath every time. It's the first breath and the last breath. Well, you breathe in the future and you breathe out the past.
Yeah.
As you breathe...
You know, the word love and the word life are the same thing.
Yeah.
Love and life. Lieb, in German, it's Lieb. Yeah. And other languages...
It's also freedom.
It's very close to love. So when you take in a breath of air... You are giving love to your lungs. Your lungs are going, oh, I love it. Come on,
Yeah. And the beauty of it is, if you look at a tree in profile without its leaves, if you just it's a big tree like an ash. It's a lung, and you look at it, and it's the shape of a lung.
Yeah.
You know, and all the branches going branch.
No, weird. Right.
The tree is a lung.
It's a big lung, and it's breathing in.
Breathing in carbon dioxide and breathing out oxygen. The opposite way around.
Same as we are.
No, other way around.
Oh, it's breathing in the carbon.
Breathing in carbon dioxide
and breathing out oxygen. Yeah, that's amazing. I mean, the balance between
us, the creatures that live in the air, and the creatures that are static in the ground, because they are creatures. You know what I mean? They are living things, are giving us the oxygen to breathe, and it's a symbiotic relationship whereby there's no losers in it.
No losers. Not in paradise there are no losers. Where the losers are is in the predator. As soon as the predator gene arrives on a planet, that is the beginning of trouble. Because the predator gene wants to take a life before that life wants to be taken.
It becomes a virus, right?
So it produces fear in the system, and there is no fear in paradise. So there's no predators in paradise. No, there cannot be. Because who wants their life taken away prematurely? Do you want to always be looking over your shoulder to see if there's not great? If you're a rabbit, you're always looking.
Militaristic society.
A rabbit.
You know?
I tell you a story about a rabbit. It's a relative of a mammal. It's like a little hamster, right? And this little hamster was in this cage. Bought it from when it was... somebody gave it to us when it was 2020, and it was in this cage, and it had never been outside, never been anywhere. And my daughter bought one of these little plastic eagle. It was only about that big. but it balanced on your finger, and it was kind of a toy. But it was an eagle, and you could just walk around this eagle with sort of on your. And she brought it down to the hamster cage, and the hamster took one look at the profile of the eagle's wings, and went absolutely mad. Went straight in under its deepest burrow.
Yeah.
Went in there and didn't come out for a fucking week, man. Couldn't get it out of there. All it had done was looked up and seen the profile of an eagle's wing.
It's genetically
and activated the DNA, the fear-based DNA inside the hamster's body. He'd never seen a fucking eagle and didn't know what the fuck it was, but it wouldn't come out for a week, man. So that's how deep it all is. And it's right down into the single cell things, bacteria eating bacteria. You know, like the predator goes right down very, very deep into the into very, very small species.
That is powerful.
That's the difficulty. Maybe the whole universe is fucked. Maybe the entire universe is actually already seeded with a predator, and it's no longer possible to find a planet or a system that is predator-free. Yeah, but there's an island in New Zealand.
I think what we have to be careful of, Magic, and this is a real concern, is that we get caught in the black and white thinking of predator and prey.
I do get caught in that, man. I do, but I can't see the value of the predator, because the argument for the predator is that they cull the weak. They take out the weak specimens, and they only leave the strong.
They're beautifully ergonomic designs.
But there are islands. There's an island called Ulver Island in New Zealand, in Wellington Bay. That there are no predators on this island, and there never have been in the whole fossil record or anything. And this island has not got overpopulated with rats, or overpopulated with rabbits, or overpopulated with anything. It's all still kept in balance. The argument that the predator has to be there to take out the weak and the feeble in order for evolution to.
It's for for breeding anyway. Females will look for genetic profiles in their males before if they want to have a child.
The predator grew out of the same organic and natural need as did the prey. In that there was no natural growing food. If you go to the poles where the Eskimos eat, they have a high meat diet. They eat seal and they eat whatever they can get. Whatever living thing, penguin, they'll eat it all. They don't have carbs.
Ever ask yourself why those people went up there in the first place? There was no need for them to
get away from the marauding bastards that were down below them.
Okay. Yeah. After the Ice Age.
People.
But why were the marauding bastards marauding?
What?
Why were the marauding bastards marauding?
The marauding bastards were marauding.
All the Vikings.
Why were they marauding?
What?
Why were they marauding?
Because they were bored. They just
bored.
Yeah.
Why were they bored?
They had a certain.
They didn't have any. They didn't have a shamanic they didn't have a culture based on the vision that comes from having psychedelic drugs. The Genghis Khan hordes were not psychedelic people, but the Huichol people who have lived for thousands and thousands of years in the Sierra Madres in Mexico have the most beautiful culture you could ever imagine. This is a Huichol shaman who's one of my teachers, right? And this is at a sacred well where he's going to do ceremony. Wow. And his bag has got a peyote there, and this is a deer, and his hat is full of feathers, and he has all this stuff here. And these are muwiris, his arrows, and all his sacred bits and pieces. He's a shaman from this country.
Can I hold that up to the camera?
Yeah. And this guy has lived in the same culture for thousands of years without being a predator. Yeah. Without, yes, they eat the meat of the cows and stuff. So I suppose they are predators, and they do hunt deer, but only to feed themselves, not for fun.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's a natural, organic.
If you're hungry,
response to hunger.
If you're hungry, I don't see anything wrong in it.
Because you're eating you are eating the vegetables that the cow ate. You know what I mean? You'll get
Let's talk about something else. It's such a boring subject because there's no way around it. It is what it is.
I know it's
It is, isn't it? Like you can't tell a robin that he can't eat worms, and you can't legislate against a robin eating worms. And if you're going to be without robins just because you want to protect the worms, like they take a few ones. They live and they're beautiful and they're great creatures.
They can buy them from the shops like everyone else.
Oh, sorry. But the big predators, they shouldn't be here. The ones that kill babies and eat wolves and tigers and things like that, man, they can fuck off and go to another planet.
I had a friend in Oma in Northern Ireland. They don't have the rules.
That's what the humans did first of all when they came onto this planet. When they got a little bit aware. All the first weapons were nothing to do with killing other people or killing animals. They were keeping predators off. The first spears and clubs weren't for killing.
Defense, yeah.
They were for keeping the fucking saber-toothed tigers from attacking them. That's what their first weapons were. Bits of stick out of the fire with flaming ends on them. Big fucking branches with big flames on the end of them. And the wolves are circling the thing, and the babies are all in the cave, and there's tigers, and there's fucking horrible looking things with great big teeth, just up there. And if you walk away from the fire, you're going to get jumped on by something.
That's right.
A big snake, a big tiger, a big cat of some sort. That's the early proto-humans were under threat the whole time because they were delicious.
That's right.
You are delicious, man. I mean, you not, and you not, but those guys, like young baby from a tribe that's wandering about there, wanders a bit off into the jungle. And it's a goner. Somebody's had it. A wild pig just comes up, snapple. Lovely,
tasty,
bit of human,
The truffle.
Truffle. So we got rid of them real quick, man. We killed the wolves and the tigers and the big, saber-tooths, and we knocked them all on the head, and we also knocked all those things that couldn't run away, like the dodos and all the things that couldn't run away quick. We got all them as well.
Well, we became the world's most dangerous predator.
Oh yeah, we are now, man. We're seriously dangerous predators. But what does that actually...
where does that leave us?
When we start predating upon each other, that's when it gets nasty.
In business and stuff. And
yeah, that's the same instinct, isn't it? It's just taken into a different sphere.
It's not.
Is this person useful to me or not? If they're useful to me, I'll cultivate their friendship. If they're not useful to me, I'll ignore them. That's kind of the relationships they have out there in the world. Are you beautiful enough? Are you sexy enough? Have you got enough money? Have you got enough influence? If those things go click, then you make good friends with them. If they're just bums, or you don't, you ignore them. Well, that's okay. I ignore a lot of bums because they've got choice, not to be bums. Actually, you don't have to be a bum just because you're poor.
Well, exactly. You are a living example of that.
Well, I'm not actually very poor. I'm not poor. I'm resource rich, but I'm poor in cash flow. I'm resource rich, man. I've got everything I need.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You've established a level of bumhood which is socially acceptable.
Terry, you're such a cruel man.
But I get assistance from the government. I do farm assist, which means that they assess the money that I get from my farm, and then they boost that up to an acceptable level, and that's nice. I get that every year. I get a bit of money for my forest by cutting the trees out and selling the firewood, and I get a bit of money for herbs and doing a bit of this and that and this and that and this and that, building work. And I keep by, and then we're going to we've got James and his friend are serious online poker players, and they earn a huge amount of money. I mean, Dan can go to the poker table. He goes every day and he plays like 10, 20 games at once, and every night he's on the poker table and he comes home with anywhere between 400 and 800 euros just for a couple of hours work on the poker tables, and he's doing it all the time, constantly. And this is online poker, and these guys are good, and they're bringing their programs here tomorrow. Tomorrow morning they'll be here with the program, and we've got a small amount of money to start with. We've only got a couple hundred euros, but we're going to play, and we're going to build up the base on it
so you can
to fund the place, because it's
It's not going to fund itself, is it?
Well, it kind of does, but not at the rate I want it to fund itself. It keeps itself ticking over, but I don't have enough money to get the main projects going properly. I need a really high quality income stream from somewhere, which is bringing in like several hundred a week, and then I can start to get the forest the way I want to get it, get the dome up, get this building restored to its original Irish state, and to get the whole landscape full of fruit trees and plants. And we now have 150 edible herbs on the place, and I want to get over 250. And I want all kinds of other things. I want amazing trees that I've got on my eye on from the jungle. And the boat, you see, the boat is the other part. The boat is moored down in Sneem, and it goes over to South America to the jungle, and it picks up all the seeds and the plants that the Growers Ark want to bring over here. And the Growers Ark is two things. It's the dome here and the boat that travels around the world.
But you're going to have a boat.
Yeah, it's an old Irish trawler, fishing trawler.
You've seen a couple of trawlers on the way down, didn't you?
Did you see those two? No, I haven't bought it yet.
Are they, is it similar to that size though, the big one?
Where was that again?
You mean you've missed it? You must have.
I haven't been out of here, man. I never go anywhere.
When we were coming down, we saw two boats.
Oh, on the side of the road. The red ones, the red and white ones.
Red and white.
Oh, Johnny O'Brien.
Yeah.
No,
I thought that the only physical landmark in the whole area.
Two red boats.
Have you seen a tree? What about the two red boats? What two red boats? The two big red boats.
Yeah, my fault. Sorry.
Two red boats.
Okay, that's Johnny O'Brien. No.
I thought, Eddy, have a look again. Is there two red boats, or am I imagining it?
And then you got the little house, and then sorry, I forgot about those two boats. But way bigger than that, man.
Oh man.
Oh, way bigger than
that. Rainbow Warrior size.
No. Halfway between Rainbow Warrior and that.
Oh, okay.
54 foot, Scottish built, pitch pine on oak.
Yeah.
Trawler, ex-trawler, which has been converted to sail.
Excellent.
And has a Gardner 8-cylinder engine in it, and will go anywhere in the world.
Well, if you need someone to crew that ship,
I've got a load of crew, man. Good. Yeah, I'll keep you on board. Are you a fisherman? Have you been out?
I'm not a great boatman, but
the idea is a good idea, isn't it?
I like the idea, exactly. So I'll probably be seasick for the first 3 months, but after that I'll be fine.
Yeah. But it's kept here in the Kenmare Bay. And we go maybe once a year, and we do a 6-month trip, and we go down to the Azores, across to down the Amazon, pick up plants in the Amazon, the Orinoco. We go through Panama Canal down into Ecuador, and we pick up plants from there. And we do a 6-month tour, and come back with all the plants, bring them back here, and grow them on here, and see if they'll grow in this environment. Most of their medicinal plants.
Their missions aren't cheap, though, obviously, to fuel and crew.
No. This one is going to be totally. It's going to have. Okay, there's so many different versions of it. I'll start with this one. Basically, this one is it's sails, but it has a big engine.
Go on.
And the engine goes at idle speed. All the way across the Atlantic. So gardeners are magnificent at going idle speed. They'll go idle speed for 3 weeks without any stopping or anything. Just keep the fuel going, and you just go for 3 months. They'll go. The engine will run for 3 months without any servicing.
The engine will run, and the wind will carry the rest.
Yeah. All this is doing is keeping your head in. The propeller's turning quite slowly. It's only going at 400 revs a minute. And that's quite fast actually, but it's keeping a 2 knot speed on it. The rest is a Kontiki sail on this trawler, right? The Kontiki sail. Do you know Kontiki boat?
Yeah,
it's like that. The sail is just like one great big mast that goes across, and one at the bottom, or it's not even tied. It's only tied at the corners.
Like an old Viking ship.
Viking ship sail, huge big one.
Oh, right.
One of them. That's all you've got. Yeah. And maybe you can put a spinnaker on the front if you could, and maybe you've got a jib at the back. But just this one sail. That's not the only sails. It's still set up for a catch rig for several different sails. But this is the one that takes you across the Atlantic. Right. You put it on autopilot. Put the engine onto tick-over speed. Put up your because the wind blows in the same direction for 6 months of the year, and it blows the other direction. It's called the trade winds.
What?
You know the trade winds?
Oh, you're giving me loads of information.
You go down to the Azores, right? You go past the Canaries to the Azores. And for 6 months of the year, the wind blows constantly from Africa to the Caribbean. It's called a trade wind.
And you get on that. It's like picking up a road, a motorway.
And you don't have to do anything. You just set the autopilot and just play cards and fish, and you don't do anything till you get to the Caribbean 3 weeks later.
Yeah. It's like the Gulf Streams.
At 8 knots, 8 knots, it takes 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And the wind never changes direction. And then you come up north of Newfoundland, and you get the trade winds coming the other way, which come back to Europe.
It's a big
6 months
big
of the
cycle of wind. That's
how all this trade happened.
That's how it all happened. The Golden Triangle.
And so the trade ships come across. We come back at a different time of year. You come back to Ireland with whatever you found.
Amazing.
Well, they cut the journey. Cut the journey time.
That's freedom.
They cut the journey. They cut the journey time from 6 months to 6 weeks. The journey time used
return journey
from Southampton to New York used to be 6 months originally, but when they picked up on the trade winds, when the navigators came in, it went down to 6 weeks on the wind.
Yeah, because otherwise they had to tack all the way.
Yeah.
They had to go like this all the way across to New York.
They didn't know where the winds were.
No.
Yeah.
When they picked up the trade winds, it was a dawdle.
Yeah, exactly. They just went 6 weeks, boom, port to port.
Oh man, there's so much to talk about all that, man. But British Guyana, which is an unknown country that nobody ever talks about, is where I'm going. And that is like 95% untouched jungle. It's the last place on the planet, man, which has been untouched. British Guyana. It's just south of Venezuela, on the shoulder of South America. There's 3 Guyanas, French Guyana, Dutch Guyana, and British Guyana, and they were the pirate havens in the 80s.
I know I'm a South American. I lived in Brazil for 3 years.
Century, right? They were the pirate havens.
The,
the English had the best position, which was the top one.
Yeah.
Then there was the Dutch, and then the French, or the other way around, French and Dutch. Suriname and Dutch Guyana, or French Guyana.
And they all fought along the borders.
But they all had their pirate fleets, and the land was completely lawless. It was called the Pirate Coast.
Yeah.
And there was no laws there at all. The pirate fleets that was their home base. And the English pirate fleet was funded by Elizabeth I, who funded Sir Francis Drake, who was the pirate king of that area. He became Sir Francis Drake, but actually he was a fucking pirate. And Sir Walter Raleigh as well. They were both pirates.
They ended up with their heads cut off anyway.
Both of them, didn't they? I think so. Yeah, they didn't do well, did they? And anyway, so that English bit, because what they were doing was just waiting in the ports until the Spanish had a huge fleet of galleons about to go back to Cadiz with 2,000 million tons of silver and gold on them. These ships sort of lumbering along, and these English ships
mugged them on the high seas.
Mugged them, man. And they had these ships which were all they had. Oh man, they did some wicked things, and they had these boats that were basically scrap boats, and they covered them in tar and pitch and chained them together
and just floated them towards them
and lit them and floated them towards the Spanish fleet, who got tangled in all these burning boats, and there was no way to get them off. And they burned the ships, and then they would I don't know what they would do, but they'd get in there and tow the ship into the nearest hall, kill all the Spanians, take all the loot.
They knew they had inside information.
Oh, when their fleet was about to leave,
where the gold, what ships the gold was on.
Exactly, and they went for them.
It's the one with the king's thing, so they know how to identify them.
Yeah.
The king's seal had to be flying on the ship.
Okay, yeah.
It's like they were telling them, "Here's the gold."
Yeah, come and get it, boy. But they thought they were invincible. They had like 600 men on board, 300 guns, but they couldn't fucking turn the ship. It took like 2 hours to turn the ship.
The guns had a barrel of motions.
Yeah. It was completely hopeless. They were just like, these ships were enormous, man. The Spanish galleons, enormous. You never saw anything like it, man.
The cannons weighed about 5 tons as well. The cannons.
But 600 men on board.
And cannon was the start of the Industrial Revolution, the piston.
Exactly.
Yeah. Another thing that came out of war, you do it for war first and then develop it into...
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Into civil
Most technology is war-based technology.
Oh, yeah. Military. Driving a car, everything, the flight.
Medicine. All Western medicine is war wounds. You know, they're great if you bust yourself up. You take you to hospital, they can sew you up and keep you alive, and they do wonderful jobs on wounds. I wouldn't want to go to a Chinese acupuncturist if I was all chopped up in a car accident. You know, I go to a fucking Western doctor because they know how to sew you up and put you back together. Even if you're completely in bits, they sew it all back on again. You know. But when it comes to disease or anything subtle, an energetic thing, they haven't a clue.
Yeah.
They just try to suppress the symptoms.
Exactly.
And so we've got that legacy, it's a big legacy of war legacy. The language, the culture, everything. You're right about that. Being afraid of everybody, being afraid of not trusting you. And yet there has to be a level of trust.
In Northern Ireland, it was absolutely ridiculous. The amount of bloody propaganda and hatred and bitterness that you've seen in people,
so stupid, man, so stupid. War wound up by people who wanted to manipulate, the situation. Yeah.
Bizarre, I mean, people have all chilled out massively in the past 10 years,
Yeah, well, they've got loads of money now. They don't need to.
Yeah, they pump so much money into it.
They don't need to feel so alienated.
Or poor. I mean, they used to be on the Catholic side or the nationalist side.
They got nothing, did they? They got no jobs. They got
no representation in like.
Were you a Catholic family or Protestant?
A Catholic family, but I grew up in a mixed park with Protestant.
Were you in Northern Ireland Catholic?
Yeah, Noma, yeah.
No, we're Catholic Toronto.
Is that Northern Ireland?
Yeah.
So you were Northern Ireland Catholic, and
Yeah.
you were discriminated against in some.
Yeah,
areas.
there were certain areas of the town I
His
went.
dad's a London. His dad's a Cockney.
What about pubs? Could you go into not go?
Yeah, there's certain.
But how would they know you were Catholic?
By your surname or your first name?
But how would they know your first name or surname? When you walk in a pub, you don't say, "Listen, I am so and so a Catholic." You just walk up to the bar and say, "Can I have a drink?"
Yeah, I mean the culture.
Well, you're a Catholic and you go into a Protestant bar. How would they know that you were a Catholic?
I used to go into Protestant bars with Protestant mates. I didn't did this. I was born in London, and my father was an East End Cockney, and he died before I was a year old. And my mum's hometown was Omagh, so she decided to go back to her hometown with 4 kids, and sort of drag us up.
Just before the bombing or just after?
This was 1972 or 3.
When was the bombing? 79?
No, the
big
big
bomb.
98. It was very recent.
98 was
Yeah,
it?
the biggest bomb. Yeah, and then
It was
Troubles.
the full stop on the Troubles. It was the death knell of the Troubles.
Was it that recent, man?
Yeah, it was.
When 23 people died.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Was that in a nightclub?
No, that was on the bottom of the town.
nightclub bombing.
Yeah, there was loads of really, really horrible things happening. There used to be
Who was doing that? The English Army or something?
The English Army was occupied. It had
because the English Army has now been proven to be behind a lot of the murders, and they said we want rid of so and so, and
all the
Irish,
UDA, UVF, whatever
would do the job, but the English were like
it was really nasty.
They had a film.
It was a complete state of paranoia. The whole thing, it was horrible.
I saw something. I saw a film.
Yeah.
And I went through it as an innocent, growing up in it, and sort of like observing it.
Yeah.
And I left as soon as I could. I went to Manchester because I loved Joy Division and stuff like that. I mean, at the time I was really into them. So I went to go to university and just got a job in a bar that was like, really central and. A really nice place. We brewed our own beer and stuff, and I worked there for about 3 years, and got a council house in Hume. I used to live in Moss Side before that, because they wouldn't let me into the halls of residence because they're from Northern Ireland.
I talk about predatorial humanity.
Well, is that predatorial or prejudice? I suppose that's the same
I'm talking
thing.
about in Moss Side in Hume. It's humanity at its most predatorial.
No, there was a lot of freedom there. There was a lot of alternative people with a lot of alternative attitudes, but they were gradually demolishing the place when I was there, and I had to move house because they were knocking the whole place down and stuff like that. And a lot of there was a lot of people in the alternative travelling community, call them crusties, whatever. And they were all shifted. The whole society was dispersed into all the surrounding areas. The community that was there was just ripped apart. It was a really bitter affair, I mean, it was bloody. Heseltine came down to tell us he was doing the right thing,
He's a creep of the first order.
But,
he got nearly blown up, and the Irish nearly got him in Brighton. They did a damn good job. I think they wounded him, but they nearly got him. They were trying to get him and Thatcher.
Thatcher were the two main people.
Oh, Thatcher was such a bitch, man.
Yeah, but she was legitimised by Reagan. Between her and Reagan, they staged the coup in Chile.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Two of them plotted it all out. They sat down, they said, right, what
they
do we
plotted
need?
it all out. And Argentina, the whole Falkland Islands thing. Don't get me into that, man. I mean, it's just disgraceful. It's disgraceful. The whole of human history is a disgrace. to humans.
Greed
It's a
and
fucking disgrace, man. We should not be doing this. We should not be looking back on our past and seeing all this death and destruction. We should be looking back on our past and saying, wow, here we are now. You know, and there's a lot of that as well. This bus is made of aluminium, man. This bus will never ever rot. It's rot-proof. It's an immortal bus. The glass is immortal. You cannot. Glass never deteriorates. Over 10,000 years, that piece of glass will still be there.
Like a diamond.
And so will the aluminium, because it
doesn't rust.
Yeah, and so this bus, I never need to worry about it.
Cool.
The under chassis will eventually rot, but the bus will just sit down here and this will be here forever, if I want to. And that's good technology, to be able to communicate with other people across the planet through these devices, be able to use the film, and this is fantastic stuff. And to be able to get good transportation where you can go places, that's good. To be able to share knowledge, share resources, move around. But surveillance technologies and technologies of imposition on the human body, like television is very dangerous, and I keep away from it because it's a two-way thing, television.
Yeah, I mean, what you're saying about surveillance, every town now in Oma has got cameras everywhere.
Every corner, man, every street corner cameras.
And people accept it because of the fear of getting beat up in the street. They want to be filmed to get the people who've done it. That's why they accept it.
That's why they accept it.
Yeah.
They're being told.
Because there's so much violence around, you know. So.
If you're innocent, you don't need to worry. That's what they say about surveillance stuff.
Yeah.
You know, we can check all your data, all your life's information systems and everything. And if you're innocent, you don't need to worry.
Even your mobile
and this is the way they
phones.
get away with it.
They triangulate with your mobile phone
If you equate it to the sun, right? The sun is a beautiful ball of energy that sustains our lives on this earth, right? But it is also a fireball of absolute horror if you get in its way.
Get too close to it.
Exactly. And that is like technology. Technology, it gives us access to the world, ease of comfort and feelings of desire and hope that bring us joy and comfort in our dying days. You know what I'm saying? That does. I've seen my dad go through years of watching TV, and it does give him a great source of fulfilment. Sadly, as it is, but it's true.
Makes him feel part of something. At least.
Exactly, and obviously. We've tried to reject that, but we have to also accept that it's part of our identity as well. You know what I mean? We can't.
It's not part of my identity.
We can't evade it.
It's not part of my. I don't know any celebrities. I don't know any game shows. I don't know any series.
No, but
I don't know any National Geographical.
You're using initially television was promoted as a public service. This will give people, everybody.
It's a propaganda machine.
Yeah, exactly. And that's how it was sold to people. So people bought it into their own homes, and there was psychologists who were warning. This is a dangerous tool. You're bringing a propaganda machine right into your living room. Right. People like Adolf Hitler can get on television.
Exactly.
And
they're all mini Adolf Hitlers, man. But most of them are trying to convince you of a particular picture of reality which does bear no relation to the real thing.
Spot on.
You know? That people who think alternatively are kooks, and they should be locked up. You know, the 9/11 Truth Movement right now is experiencing exactly that. It's being
they're
ridiculed.
Closing in on them.
They're closing in on them on the major networks. Are closing in on the 9/11 truthers, turning them into terrorists.
Yeah.
You are a terrorist if you question the government, if you are an adherent of the Constitution of the United States, if you question 9/11. If you support Ron Paul
and the people, the mentality of the people that implement those views,
as a potential terrorist, and you're put on a no-fly list, so you can't fly anywhere. If you're put on a no-fly list, you get no credit. And like the whole thing is like as soon as you tune into Alex Jones and you're on some Google search, Google know perfectly well I'm on Alex Jones all the time.
Yeah.
They know perfectly well that.
They
They can read my
that phone call I just got, right, was from my bank saying, we've noticed you're abroad. Can you confirm these transactions? And I had to automatically press each transaction that I've had since I've been in Ireland, so they know exactly where I am, where I took money out at Christians in the town there, or down in Kenmare.
Can track you.
They can track my movements.
And your telephone has got a three-way tracking system. They can tell within a yard where you are. Within a yard where you are, if it's on.
Is that now got a service?
If you turn it off,
you can.
The computer. This has got a camera there.
But you can actually get
and it's got a fucking microphone in there.
Yeah.
There's technology inside that to turn it the other way around. So that anybody that I'm
If-
connected
if-
to
yeah,
the
if someone-
internet, they
yeah.
can listen and watch me
Yeah.
through the
Always
camera.
turn it off,
through the
yeah.
camera, man.
But you can
but
actually
it doesn't
get
even do to turn it off. You have to take the battery out
Yeah.
of your phone.
Yeah, and that's what it was. You can actually get a thing now. Use military hardware basically that you can track your friend or whatever or your child by their mobile phone. You can get a GPS.
Yeah, marketing that in the United States as being
Yeah.
a good thing to keep an eye on your
Yeah.
teenage children when they're going to school and they
Yeah.
don't get mugged and all that. Oh, you wouldn't want your child mugged, would you? Give them
Just
one of these tracking
that
devices.
sort of control.
Showing you the benefits.
Yeah.
Showing you the benefits. There's the benefits.
Mm.
The benefits of your freedom is your peace of
Want another
mind.
glass of water, Terry?
Yes, please.
Walk away, walk away.
Sacrifice your freedom for your peace of mind.
There's coffee there if you want it. I've done it. At last I've done it.
Oh, yeah, man.
But you don't have to. But if you want it,
I'll have another water first.
Yeah,
I think, 'cause
yeah.
I'm a bit
And,
dehydrated.
and the water the coffee is made with is also pure.
Yeah,
The coffee, the water. So that means it's double filtered.
organic coffee.
Yeah, it's double filtered because the water is already pure, which is being
Yeah,
distilled
then it's
through
been
the
boiled.
coffee, and you can taste it. That's why some of the Guinness that you taste around these parts is beautiful. It's like down at the
Yeah,
black
better
shop.
water.
It's made
But
of that
not.
water.
You have to be careful because the Guinness brewery make their water with fluoride water, and that's on the web. You know, like when you drink 5 pints of Guinness at night, you're taking into your body a toxic amount of which is more than like 5 micrograms.
But the pub landlords add their own bit of water into it to make
Do
the
they?
Guinness go further, but
Do
that adds to the flavour. It's like the original Guinness would have tasted before
I
chemical
don't think
plants.
landlords are allowed to do that. Man. Maybe some in your part of the world, but down here they wouldn't. They would not be allowed.
It's a sealed unit, I know.
It is.
But
It's
you
a
like
sealed-
to believe that you're drinking. I bet you when you taste the flavour of that coffee, Ed, you will taste the water in the
Mm.
But
coffee
it's
as well.
99%. Guinness is 99% water anyway. 99% water.
That-
There's only a bit of fermented alcohol, a bit of colouring, and a bit of there's only a tiny bit of like hop flavouring and whatever in it. It's 99% water.
and the yeast gives you the cream.
It makes it like it's something more than water, but it isn't. Mostly water.
Yeah. Well, I mean, coffee's most of water as well.
Yeah,
So,
everything.
but because it's a hot beverage, it's been purified through the heating process. So you've got it's double. I think that's what
Yeah.
they mean by double filtered.
Yeah. You've killed any bacteria anyway, potential bacteria.
Yeah.
But coffee's a bad one, man.
A double filtered coffee that's what a double filtered coffee
Oh,
is.
okay.
Isn't it? Ed?
No, it's
Sorry,
been
we're
through
doing
it's been through the
something
coffee
else.
twice. That's what that
It's been
is.
it's been through the coffee twice. So
It's double strength.
It's
The
double
double espresso is when it's been through twice.
double filtered coffee.
I
that's
think
what it
it's goes through
Yeah.
twice through the grounds.
is. Yeah, but the water goes through the same process.
You
because
see
it's
those little
already been
cups
purified.
that they drink in Italy, like on the street corners and that. You see, have you been to Italy?
I've never been to Italy.
The workers come out of the underground station and they come up to this little stall, and the guy's constantly putting tiny little cups about that big, no handles, nothing, just like little cups of coffee, which is like you could stand something up in it. It's that strong, right? And the guy runs up and just stands there. The guy puts the coffee in front of him. He goes and puts the money on the ground and runs off again. It's that that's happening. You know, they get this
Get the
like,
hit,
little
like,
hit of
yeah.
fucking really bad, pitch black, really strong coffee on their way to work.
That'd be
Wake him up, man.
That's the Arabic.
That's the best thing about coffee. It wakes you up in the morning.
Yeah.
Don't drink coffee after 10 o'clock in the morning. You just need it to activate your brain when you first wake up. That's what I really like about it. It activates your brain. The Arabs took it from the ancient Chinese.
In Tunisia, I was in Tunisia, and
It comes back further than that. The
the-
Chinese are the origin.
sitting outside the open because it's roasting hot. Sitting outside and smoking the
Tunisia,
apple
I know
tobacco.
Tunisia.
And you see them down in Edgware Road. You've been down the Edgware Road, the Iranian end of Edgware Road, right near Marble Arch. There's all. It's just called Little Tehran or something. You know?
Oh right, it wasn't like that before. It was probably Turkish people
Yeah.
when I was there.
Loads of Iranians just sitting outside smoking the hookies and with these little
Really?
coffees.
In the middle of the street in Edgware?
In Edgware, yeah.
Smoking hookah pipes?
Yeah.
But only tobacco in them, not hashish?
No, it's apple tobacco, so it's
no hashish?
fragrant. No, don't hit no hashish, but the smoke of them is like, you take it in, if you don't do it right, you get a mouthful of soot.
Oh.
A mouthful of soot and holes flying all over the place.
That's what I remember about London. Every time you go to clean your nose after coming out of the tube, it's just black.
Hey, listen, guys. Owen is coming in a minute, so why don't we go for a little walk?
Yeah, sure.
I just want to show you this. This is a design for the dome. It's very hokey because I'm not. This is the dome out there, right? Around the dome is a moat.
And you're saying that's going to be 54 foot in diameter?
Yeah, that's 51 feet.
51 feet in diameter.
And 24 feet high.
24 feet high, that is going to be big.
And there's all kinds of ancillary systems around it. And this is that earth bank around the outside, which has all the fruit trees and all that. And there's
you've got water
coming in.
You've got water. Will you direct the water?
Yeah, direct the water. Yeah, sure. This is the front door, which is just there.
Yeah.
And the water will come in from somewhere and create a little pond and go out again, or a waterfall. There's a fire in the middle there, and these are all beds, and this is where I live, on a kind of little patch at the back here with the mezzanine, which is over there.
Oh my God.
So the whole thing is
it's completely organic.
Oh yeah. And the whole thing can be made and systemized to provide all your energy, zero energy and zero waste out from anywhere else. Everything you utilise, the whole thing. Have you seen a film called The Garbage Warrior?
Yeah.
Have you?
No.
Have you heard of it?
I know the guy
who
went into space with all the plants.
No, this is different. No, this guy created amazing communities in the desert of New Mexico, using what you call earth ships, which were houses integrated into the desert.
I've got to ask you something. When you go in, you know that parasites and insects can enter the space because it's an ergonomic ecosystem environment. Part of the ecosystem is obviously the insect life. You know, if it's a sterile environment, then the environment won't survive. But at the same time, if every bug in town just thinks free food, everybody, and descends upon it, your system won't survive. So you have to have a double door. You've got the double door, yeah? Ah, he's built it in, you see. He's got the
double door is there.
Oh, wicked. Exactly. So nothing.
And inside here are the beehives. Does it say bees? They're built into the system, so you can watch what they're doing, and they have minimal access through this door, so that they can get in. And there are skylights and things, so that things can get in and out, but I don't want a huge plethora of things in there. But inside there will be birds, my own butterflies that I've brought into there, jungle butterflies and so on. Some of these things will be trees, like 20 feet high trees, avocados and oranges and lemons and limes and all of those kind of trees will all be at the back here in the north part.
Do you have an ant problem up there at all?
Yeah. Sometimes in the summer they do get into the roots of the plants, and they totally kill them. Actually, if you don't spot them in time, they completely kill the roots.
But you know that ants can come in on your shoes as well.
Yeah. But there will be little creatures like frogs in the pond, and there will be and you know the whole.
You've got to have a no shoe policy at the door.
Yeah. Kind of. Yeah, you might have to do that. You might have to do that. And at the same time, you will be able to deal with any particular infestation. So you get whitefly coming in, or blackfly, or something like that. I will send off for somebody who will send me 50 ladybirds, and then I can release the ladybirds, and they'll soon deal with the blackfly.
But then you'll have a ladybird epidemic.
Not necessarily, because there will be other things that will eat the ladybirds. So I mean. You've just got to play with it.
But that's the predatory cycle. Is that when they went out to Australia in the 19th century, they said, well, we've got no game to hunt out here because the hares are too fast and sparsely populated, and the kangaroos it's a bit cruel to shoot them. So why don't we
shoot the apples
why,
instead?
no, why don't we import rabbits? So
that was a different. No, they didn't import. Did they import the rabbits just to eat?
They imported the rabbits to go out and hunt, so they'd have something that was slow enough to shoot. You know what I mean?
Right.
And but then the rabbits population exploded, and they started eating all the crops in the
Did you
vicinity.
see the rabbit-proof fence?
Yeah, exactly. Rabbit-proof fence. That was where it came from. They actually had to dig the barbed wire under
right down into the ground.
About 4 foot.
About a foot. No, 1 foot. 1 foot.
Just a foot. Yeah. But they had such a problem that they imported foxes then, which became the dingoes, which are a scourge of Australian culture. The dingo dog, which bred with the wild fox.
Did it?
That's what created the long-legged fox. Was the original. He's called a dingo in Australia, but originally he was a fox.
Really?
The same size as the one in Britain.
There were no original dingoes. They were
bred in the small numbers, but they were kind of domesticated pets. You know what I mean? And it populated the whole region, and then they had a problem, like you're saying, putting the ladybirds in, and then the predators of the ladybirds.
So we have to consider what the options are. I just took that as an example, but there are options. Birds are very good because they will take a lot of.
You're going to get what it feels like to be God in that you.
It's my own little jungle.
This is a planet. This is a planet which is an ecosystem unto itself, which will feed off itself, which will support itself.
So you've got your own little tiny, what you call what I call microclimates. Yeah. So you create microclimates for particular plants. So inside the dome, the only things that inside that dome will be the ones that need to be inside there. Everything else will be outside.
So will you have temperature control?
Very special plants.
Like the Eden Project has the temperature control.
It's based on the Eden Project, right? This whole idea is based on the Eden Project, but the Eden Project is too big and it's not user friendly. What this is Eden Project scaled down to a human friendly, easily done Eden Project, right? You just scaled it down.
I went into the tropical dome in the Eden
yeah,
Project.
you have to take your fucking shirt off.
No, I came out of there and me and Lisa were in the van. We just slept for 4 hours to start with. It's like a fucking beautiful sauna you went into.
It's nice in there.
You know when you get so comfy and relaxed, your body feels like melting. What's going on here? I get like that when I get out of the sauna sometimes.
Yeah, I was there when it was tiny, when all the plants were just put in.
Yeah, I'm right.
Then I went back there like 10 years later, and it had grown quite big. And then I went back there last year with my daughter, and it's like some of them now, like they're really big now. The waterfalls. Everything is looking really much more jungly. Before it was like there was just this walkway and a few plants like this big, and now it's like canopy everywhere, man. But the one thing they don't have in there is butterflies and insects and birds and stuff. It's very sterile in there. If you sit there quietly, you'll not see a single insect, a single bird, a single butterfly or anything. They keep it all completely sterile, which is a mistake because all the plants love to have the birds, the butterflies and bees around them because they like to, swap spit, so to speak, They all like swapping spit. Yeah. The birds love to shit on the plants, and the plants love the bird shit, and then they take the seeds and they put them over here. The birds take the seeds and spread them around. Everybody has a good time.
If the bird shit starts landing on punters' heads,
that's what it is. That's the problem, man. If you've got a big parrot that's going around shitting everywhere, it's a bit of a problem.
Baby's got her ice cream. She's licking
that jungle should have
topping.
The jungle house. Hey, Terry, the jungle house at the Eden Project should have a flock of beautiful macaws or parrots of some sort that fly about inside it, and they're just jungle birds. They could easily do that. So I'm going to have a couple of parrots in there. Yeah. I'm going to have butterflies from wherever, because in there will be plants from every continent. I don't know if you've heard of krakom. It's a leaf that's available from Thailand. It gets you very high. It's just a leaf of a tree. All you do is just dry the leaf and smoke it. It's wonderful stuff. Krakom.
Krakom.
The plant is called Mitangrea speciosa.
I've heard about this plant.
Yeah, it does ring a bell. Yeah.
It's crack on.
Lovely
It's supposed to be.
Really lovely eye, right?
It's
Somewhere
where
around,
crack got its name
somewhere
from.
around cannabis and opium together, right? And the Vietnamese government have banned it in 1970, and they've been a death penalty for having a tree in your garden, a crack-on tree. And all it is a mild stimulant. Anyway, that will be growing in there, and then canna tree, which is called Speciosus tuberosa.
Well, I mean, obviously the
I've got a list of trees that I'm desperate to get in. And they're all going in there, and it's going to be so exciting to live with them. The neem tree, which is the most healing tree on the planet, from India.
Exactly.
Neem.
You can try
antiseptic tea trees in Australia.
A parrot has got the intelligence
Moringa trees
to go to a fridge, open the fridge, and get out a can of beer, open the beer, and drink that beer.
Who's that?
A parrot. Parrots can do that.
Yeah.
They can train them to do that. If you set it up to
they can train.
You can train them to do that.
They can become part of the ecosystem. Like, you can go put us on a bit of toast, and then put a fucking toast. I put the toast on last night.
Parrots. Yeah.
Shut up, you fucking parrot. You'll be dead. The Monty Python sketch.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
This
Monty
parrot
Python
is dead. No, it's not, sir. It's just sleeping. This parrot is dead.
That's funny. I love that.
I love that.
Long John Silver had a good relationship with a parrot. Parrots are very. You can get on with them like people. They have that. They have that.
That's what I'm going to have when I get my dome. I have a parrot then.
Parrot.
But it'll have a mate. It'll have a mate, so it can go off and be with its mate. There'll be two of them, and they can have babies if they want to. And there'll be some other smaller birds, finches mostly, basically canaries, but not all the same yellow canaries. But there'll be a whole finch family, because they're brilliant at eating bugs and seeds, and finches just flying about all the time singing, because they sing like truckman finches, right? And they're singing all the time, and they always have babies, and they're easy to look after. And you just have finch house, little nests, so the whole place is bursting with colour. Finches darting about all over the place, goldfinches and the whole family. It's a huge family, man.
We come back here in 10 years' time, and he's like Dr. Dolittle. He's walking around. There's finches landing on him. Covered in finches.
I can't remember when we parked up on the sand dune looking out at the sea. There was these small white birds diving into the sea.
Gannets.
Gannets,
or if they're really big, they're gannets. If they're not, they're herring gulls.
Herring gulls? Yeah, they weren't that big. The seagulls were a lot bigger than them. So.
Right. Okay, they'd be herring gulls. Yeah.
If we learn to be as birds so free, that was a line of a poet.
If we could live to be as birds so free, I can't remember. That sounds like Shelley or something.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. But no, I mean, I don't want to be anything but a human. Actually, at this point in time. But yeah, take on the spirits of the animals. In this, I have this animal.
Well, they're there to guide us. The animals are there to guide us at the end of the day. I mean, all that stuff. Remember the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe? It's like the lion was there to guide us. He wasn't there to threaten us or to
Aslan.
Yeah.
And around here, I have all the guides here. The hare is a guide. The raven is a guide. And they're the two main guys around here. The ravens are up there all the time. I saw them this morning. Hare comes in here, plays around here. He's my spirit guide. He says if things are all right or not. He escorts me home sometimes, and I come up the road, and he runs along in front of my car. And he appears in the early morning and late evening. He plays around, and he likes it. I've got one painted on the side of the bus. I don't know if you saw it. Did you see that portrait on the side of the bus?
On the far side here, yeah.
Just here, there's a hare there. Beautiful painting. Done by a Swedish author. Lovely painting.
Oh, the sound of silence there. The sound of silence for a minute. Looking at that scenery,
Just catch your breath.
Yeah, you can turn that thing off.
Yeah. It's funny to me.